Welcome back. It's the new week and it's Monday, so it's the Monday musings. Alright, so today I want to talk about using emotions in magic and spellwork, which can be a very, very useful thing. Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button. Something I should mention before we get started with this is that this is a fairly advanced practice, and if you are suffering from any mental illness, please get that under control before you do anything like this, because it can affect that negatively. So, this isn't any medical advice or anything like that, but I would suggest just getting, going to see a doctor if you need, a therapist if you need, and do not ignore that aspect. So, when it comes to any kind of spell work, we're working with energy, the manipulation of energy, the transference of energy, the building up and projection of energy. And this can be done in a variety of different ways, and the energy can come from various sources. Now, one of these sources that the energy that we work with can come from is emotions, and the manipulation of those emotions and the control of those emotions. And probably one of the best emotions to work with in terms of intensity would be anger and rage. And so I'm going to use that as the example going forward in today's video. But obviously you can use any emotion, and that will depend on the type of energy you want and the type of work you're doing. However, that energy, regardless of what emotion it is, can be transmutated and used for whatever purpose you need. So it's why I usually refer to anger and rage, because as I said, it is the most potent. It's an incredibly powerful emotion, and it incites or enlivens a great deal of energy within us. So how do we go about using this emotion? Because we're not always in a situation where we feel angry, and therefore we can't just pull it up. Well, we can actually. So there's two ways that I often go about using emotions, and especially in regards to anger and rage. The first is to put yourself in a situation where you are going to feel that emotion. And when it's all building up and it's quite intense, stop and examine the emotion from the point of being the observer. So completely examine it. How does it feel? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your belly? Do you feel it in your back? Try and pinpoint a place where you actually feel it, because then you've got an originating point. So really, really examine it and know how it feels. Know what sensations, what physical sensations actually start taking place in your body. Then when you're in a situation, a ritual situation where you're going to do spell work, what you can do is you can recall that feeling, that emotion, and you can let that well up. So you can, as I said, with the physical sensation, where do you feel it the most? That could be your originating point, so you can focus on that area and then start to build up the emotion. Because emotions are really reactions, but I'll get to that just now. The other way that I usually go about this is to become the beast. Now, we all have a beast within us, and we're usually told that we need to cage this beast, we need to ignore it, because it is something which is not desirable in society. It is bad, it is evil, it is our shadow side, our bad side, our evil side, and therefore we should suppress it. I say no. We need to, if we're going to find balance in magic, if we're going to find balance and equilibrium in all things, then we need to find that in ourselves as well. So these things should not be ignored. They are part of us. But anyway, that's another topic. What we can do is become the beast that is within. And in order to do that, what you're first going to want to do is make sure you are alone. You are not going to be disturbed by anybody, and bear in mind you will be making noise. So, make sure there's nobody around who's going to be curious and worried and start knocking on the door saying, "Are you okay?" All right. Or if there are people around and they are understanding of your practice, then just tell them what you are going to be doing, and therefore not to worry if they start hearing some weird noises. So what you're going to first want to do is just sit down and close your eyes, and then connect with the beast that is within you, and start to bring it forward, and then start to become it. So you may want to move like the beast, and obviously this movement is going to differ depending on what beast you have within you. Now you may want to just get on your belly and slither around like a snake. You may feel that you need to get on all fours. You may need to throw your arms up in the air and slap them down on the ground. Whatever it is, just let it flow naturally and let the beast come out. Let it come forward. So you want to start with movement. And then what you can do is you can start with voice. So you might want to start growling or howling, really bringing the voice forward. You may want to just make some weird noises with your vocal cords just to exercise them. You may want to open your jaw, circle it, move your head around. Whatever it is, just allow it to come forward and really, really connect with that beast and become it. This is a form of shape-shifting, by the way. So, just really, really become that beast. Start to howl, start to growl, and start to move around on all fours, or slithering like a snake, or standing up and, as I said, throwing your arms around. Whatever it is, you become the beast. All right, and just let that continue. And what you're going to find is the energy is going to start increasing. It's going to start almost projecting, pushing out of you. It's almost like a sparkly electrical type of energy which projects out of you, but it builds and it builds and it builds as you become this beast, and you move around like this beast, and you sound like this beast, you growl, you just really, really take it on. The energy increases. Then what you need to do is you need to pull that energy in and focus it and concentrate it. So what you're going to start doing is you pull in the energy that's spiking all around you. You pull it in closer and closer and closer, and you concentrate it more and more and more. And then you pull it down from all directions, and you pull it in to a point. And that point doesn't need to be a pinprick point. It can be a concentrated place within your body, within the center. It usually is, well, I prefer it to be in the center myself, but you may find that you want to concentrate in a different area. I would avoid concentrating this in your chest, in your heart area, because it could put too much emphasis on your actual physical heart. So I usually take it down into the belly, usually down into the dantian, just below the belly button, and really pull that into the center of you. Okay, and then you concentrate it and you focus it. Now you might find this is difficult to keep in a concentrated place, in a concentrated ball, and keep it there for a long period of time. So what you're going to do then is you are going to bring your visualization of the work you are doing, the thing you are trying to accomplish, the goal, Bring your visualization into mind, and then let that energy start to move up from that center. And as it gets to the solar plexus, you're going to let it split, and then move up to the left and right sides of the body, and then down the arms and into the hands, and then you're going to project that energy out. And you can do this with force. You can let it flow with force, and as it projects out, you project it onto your target. Now, the target's going to depend on what type of work you're doing. It could be a puppet, it could be a talisman, it could be a sigil, it could be anything which represents the work you're trying to do. It could be a person. If you're trying to heal somebody or you're trying to curse somebody, it could be projected at a person. And when you're projecting at a person, which is at a distance, you can project it in their general direction, or project it straight up with the intention of it meeting its target. Alright, so what you've done then is you've created this intense energy from an emotion, from an anger and a rage. You connect with that bloodlust of the beast, and you increase this energy, and this very, very intense, powerful energy, and you pull it in, you concentrate it. As you start to move it through, you've brought the visualization of your goal, the thing you are trying to attain, and therefore it adds the will, your own will, to that particular energy, and you have to keep pinpoint focus. And this is the other thing we need to talk about in terms of emotions and spell work. But this method of calling up the beast within you, it can actually be done with any animal spirit. But in that case, what I would suggest doing is first working with the animal spirit itself, creating a relationship with it so that you know your energy and the animal spirit's energy is going to be able to coexist. But you can call up the spirit of any animal you want to work with, whether it's bear, elephant. I used this particularly once a long time ago to help cure someone's cancer by calling jaguar and using the spirit of jaguar to actually do the work. So you can call an outside, not really an outside, but a spirit animal of any animal really, to help you to pull in that energy to become it. So again, it's this method of shape-shifting in a fashion. Or you can work with your own animal beast, your own beast that's within you. And when you are finished, you may find you are incredibly exhausted, and that's fine because you've had all this energy flowing through you and you have projected it. It can be quite an exhausting experience. It can also be incredibly invigorating. But when you are finished, just thank the beast that you have been working with and let that go back, or move back into the background. Or if you are working with a spirit animal, which isn't the same thing as the beast within you, then just thank it and bid it farewell, hail and farewell, and let it go to wherever it came from. Now, the other thing that, as I said, we need to talk about is that pinpoint focus. Now, when we are doing spell work, we are feeling emotions. We have to. It's kind of a requirement and necessity. If we do not feel any emotion for what we're doing, then all we're really doing is going through motions and there's nothing happening, because there's no will, there's no power that's going into the actual work itself. So we have to feel emotions. Now, the problem here is that when we are feeling emotions during spell work, that goes into the spell work itself, and those emotions can drive our thoughts. And this, you really see this in any kind of manifestation technique. If we take the example of somebody who is financially drained, who is broke, who is desperate, and they're trying to do a manifestation technique which will help get them out of this situation to bring in more money. what they find is it usually fails, because the desperation that they're feeling is what manifests instead of the actual thing that they want. So it becomes very difficult. So what we need to do is we need to detach ourselves from those emotions, and that's not easy to do. It really isn't. It is a learned skill. But the one way to do this is to meditate, and meditate regularly on a daily basis. And through the meditation process, we become the observer. So we learn how to detach ourselves from these emotional reactions, because the reactions are really what stimulate the chemicals in our brain, and which then creates the emotional state itself. So if we can remove ourselves, or distance ourselves, disconnect ourselves from that reaction, then we don't have those normal knee-jerk reactions that we tend to regret later. What happens is we remove ourselves from that reaction. So we get into a situation, we view it as the observer, and then we decide what we want to do with it, how we want to react, what is the best approach. And this comes with meditation, and with time, and with practice. It's not an easy thing to accomplish, but then when we're in our spellwork situation, when we're in a ritual setting, and we are doing this work, we are not then feeling all these emotions, and which are creating all errant thoughts around us. We are then becoming more pinpointed, because we are feeling the emotions which we need in order to create that power, to direct the spell work that we're doing. Really get that will and power behind it and push it in the right direction. So we are feeling those emotions intensely, but we have removed ourselves, we have disconnected ourselves from it and using it as a tool. And as we remove ourselves or disconnect ourselves from the emotions, we become the observer, and we can watch what's happening with those emotions and those reactions. And we can then take those emotions and reactions, and we can use them, transmutate them, concentrate them, push them in a particular direction, and move them around. We can do whatever we want with it, because we have become the observer. We are not the emotion itself, and therefore we are not the reaction. We are the controller of the reaction. And through that, we then become laser focused on what we are actually trying to achieve, and we get rid of all those errant thoughts which the emotion can create when we are the emotion. And what this then means is we can do whatever we want with that energy which we are creating. We can move it around, we can direct it into a particular thing, we can push it in whichever way we want to do it in order to attain the goal that we are trying to achieve. So yeah, that's really it. I think that explains my point of view with this topic. So this really is any form of spellwork and magic, but we need to control what we're doing, what we're thinking, how we're reacting to things. We need to control the situation, because we have to become the creator. The only way to become a creator of something is to have control over the elements which we are trying to use, or the tools that we're using in order to create that thing. And the easiest way to do that is the practice of meditation. So go and meditate. Alright, so I will see you on Wednesday for Ask Lee again. Have a good one for now, and cheers. Bye bye.